I'm gonna do it again because I got to break Kevin's new record. I got to get back on the stage because this new record that Kevin got, I got to have it back, Kevin.
I've talked to him. Eddie, what the you doing? Get on stage. I don't know, man. Maybe.
But Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you.
I was actually one of those comedians that said, no, I wouldn't wear a dress. There's no way I would wear a dress. And then when proposed with the opportunity of what I felt was funny, I said, oh, that's funny, I'm gonna do it. It's all about choice. You know, nobody makes you do anything. Right. Nobody says this is what you got to do. This is the only way that you're gonna do it.
Look, there's no denying it. Kevin Hart is a comedy giant right now, one of the biggest names out there. But lately, his name's been all over the headlines, and not for his jokes. It's for all the wrong reasons. It feels like every other comedian, especially some of the black comedy legends, has got beef with him, and it's not looking pretty. When comedians go at each other, it's like a knife fight. 1 minute they're hyping you up, the next they're slicing you with a single punchline. Kevin's been looking a little shook lately, and you've got to wonder why's a rich, successful guy like him sweating over a few roasts. Well, hold up, because this tea is piping hot. Rumor has it Eddie Murphy might be ready to spill some serious dirt. Word on the street is Kevin's got some skeletons in his closet, and we got a sneak peek when Katt Williams aired him out earlier this year. Kevin tried to clap back, but you could tell he was rattled. Now, with Eddie and maybe a few other OGs ready to speak up, Kevin might be facing some real heat. As Katt said, I don't know what records you broke, Kevin, but you're not out of the danger zone yet. Let's break it all down. Eddie Murphy's the ultimate cool cat, always laid back, never messy. So if he's stepping up to call Kevin out, you know something's brewing. These two have history, working together on Meet Dave and always showing each other love. But even that might not stop Eddie from calling out some shady business. So what's the deal? For years, folks have been whispering that Kevin played the Hollywood game a little too slick. Like, maybe he got too cozy with the bigwigs, maybe even nudged some people out of his way to climb the ladder. And some of that talk, it's not just about power moves, it's about stuff that's straight up shady. Let's not forget what Kevin himself said back in the day. He was one of those comedians who swore, no way I'm wearing a dress. Not happening. But then, when they pitched him something he thought was funny, he was like, oh, that's hilarious. I'm down. He went on about how it's all about choice, saying nobody's forcing you to do anything. Eddie's been in the game since the 80s. He's seen it all. If he's got dirt, it's not just gossip. Then there's Katt Williams, who went in on that Club Shay Shay podcast. Katt didn't hold back, straight up, calling Kevin an industry plant and breaking down how his rise was suspiciously fast. A sitcom and a starring role in Soul Plane in his first year in LA. Katt was like, that's not a come up, that's sus, he said. Have you ever heard of a comedian moving to LA and landing a network sitcom and a major movie in their first year? Nope, not then, not ever. Katt doubled down, asking, what do you think a plan is? That line had the internet in a frenzy. Now, the beef between Katt and Kevin, it's got deep roots. Back in 2008, Katt was supposed to star in Fool's Gold, but legal trouble got in the way, and guess who souped in? Kevin Hart. That's when the drama started simmering. Katt wasn't just throwing shade, he was calling out the whole Hollywood system, saying it's messed up how some folks who aren't keeping it real get all the power, spotlight, and perks while the real ones get left in the dust. Katt knew speaking out could make him look bitter or jealous, but he wasn't fazed. When asked about backlash, he dropped a line that left everyone speechless. Satan can't create anything that includes blessings for his people. He said the #1 job of someone who's sold their soul in Hollywood is to act like it never happened. Mick drop. This industry plant theory about Kevin, it's not some new conspiracy, it's been floating around Hollywood for years. There's even this wild rumor that some stars get pressured to wear dresses on screen, like it's some bizarre initiation to reach A-list status. And it's not just Katt talking about it, Dave Chappelle's hinted at it too. When multiple comedy legends are pointing to the same shady stuff, people start asking questions. Back in 2006, Dave Chappelle dropped some major truth bombs on Oprah. He explained why he walked away from a jaw-dropping $50 million Comedy Central deal and trust. It wasn't just about the money. Dave said when the checks get that big, there's always strings attached. He's been in the game since he was 14, so he knows how Hollywood works behind the scenes. He talked about stars like Mariah Carey, who signed a $100 million deal and then got slapped with the crazy label months later, or Martin Lawrence, who was killing it and then ended up in the street, waving a gun, saying someone was after him. Dave was like, that's not random. He said it always happens when someone's career is about to hit new heights. That's when the pressure kicks in. Producers wanted him to do sketches that made people laugh at him, not with him. It felt like they were setting him up to be the punchline, all for a fat paycheck. But the wildest part, Dave told a story about filming a movie with Martin Lawrence. One day he walks into his trailer and boom, there's a dress waiting for him. He thought it was a mistake, but nope. They said it was for a scene where Martin's character breaks out of jail by dressing Dave up as a woman. Dave was like, nah, I'm good. The writers, directors, producers, they kept pushing, but Dave stood firm, saying, I don't need a dress to be funny. Then, out of nowhere, they rewrote the scene real quick. Dave was like, hold up, how'd y'all write that so fast? That's when it hit him. It wasn't about the comedy, it was about control. Dave didn't care about wearing a dress itself, but he did care about how the industry kept trying to box black comedians into doing whatever it takes to stay relevant. That moment opened his eyes big time, and he started connecting the dots. It wasn't just his fight. A whole lineup of black men in Hollywood faced the same pressure. Martin Lawrence in Big Mama's House, Eddie Murphy in Nutty Professor, Jamie Foxx as Wanda on In Living Color, the Wayans brothers in White Chicks, and Tyler Perry with his Medea Empire. It was a whole wave. Meanwhile, back when Kevin was coming up, he was preaching about self-respect and setting boundaries. He swore he'd never wear a dress, saying, you gotta know your limits and protect your brand. He even bragged about turning down a talk show bit where they wanted him to dribble a basketball because it'd make him look foolish. But then, plot twist, a year later, Kevin's on Saturday Night Live in a dress, playing a 9-year-old Oscar-nominated girl in a skit. The internet went wild. Fans were like, didn't you just say you'd never do that? They felt betrayed. Kevin went from standing his ground to flipping the script like it was nothing. Suddenly, it was funny and cool. When the backlash hit, he went into defense mode, saying, nobody forced Martin Lawrence into Big Mama's House or Tyler Perry to play Medea. It's a choice. That's his go to now. It was my choice. But the streets aren't buying it, not completely. People are pointing out that Kevin wasn't okay with it until the money started talking. Before the big checks, he was all about integrity and boundaries. But when the bag showed up, poof, everything he stood for vanished. As Steve Harvey once said, give me 10 million and I'll embarrass myself all the way to the bank. No shame, just real. And Kevin, after that dress skit, his career went through the roof. He became the highest paid comedian in the game, cashing in and never looking back. Some call it the golden ticket, others say he traded his integrity for it. But just when you thought the drama couldn't get messier, enter Monique, dropping some serious heat. Word is Kevin ghosted her when she was getting dragged by Hollywood giants like Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry. Monique was catching fire from all sides and Kevin, crickets. Here's where it gets spicy. Kevin, who used to call Monique family, started getting real chummy with Oprah and Tyler, the very people she was beefing with. Was it genuine, or was he just playing chess to climb the Hollywood ladder? Rewind to 2021. Kevin had Monique on his Comedy Goldmines podcast. They got deep, talking about her rise, her struggles, and her beef with Oprah and Perry. Monique said her family was up against the wall, and Kevin stepped up, at least at first. He called her a mother, aunt, sister, all in one, and backed it up with action. Kevin said he didn't really know Oprah, but promised to talk to Tyler Perry. He came back with what sounded like good news. Perry was ready to squash the beef. But was it legit, or just another Hollywood act? Kevin played the voice of reason, telling Monique to drop the drama and focus on the future. He even offered to partner on any project she wanted, saying he'd executive produce it himself. Monique was hyped. Having Kevin Hart's name on a project is a game changer. She told her production team at Endemol, and they were stoked, thinking this could take her show to the next level. But then, 2 weeks later, Kevin's manager, Dave Becky, called to say Kevin got cold feet. Just like that, the whole thing was dead. Monique called Kevin for answers, but all she got was a lame, "We'll talk Tuesday, don't worry." 2 years later, nothing. Kevin never followed through. Fans started piecing it together, and some called it straight up fake love. People were like, did Kevin ever really plan to help her? And the receipts, they're piling up. Kevin once claimed he didn't know Oprah like that, but hold up. In 2019, on Ellen, he talked about how Oprah sent him flowers after his car crash. He joked that those flowers turned his house into a jungle, still thriving years later. He even said his family had to eat on the floor to avoid messing with Oprah's blessed bouquet. But then he says he doesn't really know her. Yeah, that's not adding up. Rumors started swirling that Kevin might have sold out, cozying up to Hollywood's power players like Oprah and Tyler to protect his empire. Helping Monique could have put all that at risk. Now, let's get to the root of Monique's beef with Oprah and Tyler. It goes back to 2009, when she starred in Precious, produced by them and directed by Lee Daniels. The drama popped off when they expected her to do a press tour for free. Monique, who got just $50,000 for the whole movie, wasn't having it. She told them, that wasn't in my contract. They tried to sweet talk her with fancy hotel upgrades, but Monique and her husband stood firm. She was like, I'm doing a talk show, a comedy tour, I've got kids and a husband. I did my part. They agreed to disagree, but next thing she knew, Hollywood slapped her with the difficult and hard to work with labels. Then came the third call. They asked, what's it gonna take to get Monique to France? Her husband shot back, is there a number attached to that? They hit her with, well, I never pay for promotion. Monique reminded them she only got $50 for Precious and said it was never about the money. She did it as a favor to a friend. She kept it real, saying, America gets, I can't work for free. When the studio refused to pay for Akana's appearance, she didn't budge. But the headlines flipped the script, painting her as demanding over a boundary she'd already set. While Monique was fighting that battle, Kevin was dealing with his own drama. The streets were buzzing with rumors that he cheated on his ex-wife Teray Hart with his now wife Iniko. Things blew up in 2011 when Teray filed for divorce, and it wasn't just one slip up. Word is Kevin was out here wildin' with multiple women, possibly including Iniko, before they got married. Teray later opened up, saying she thought they'd be a power couple, but it all crashed down. The pain wasn't just from the cheating. It was seeing Kevin's face everywhere, on billboards in movies, on red carpets, while she was left picking up the pieces. And get this, Teray wasn't just a wife. She was grinding behind the scenes, writing jokes for his stand-up and helping with movie scripts. But Kevin never gave her credit, not once. Rumor has it he used her material to build his empire, then spent that money on other women. The ultimate disrespect. Kevin started cracking jokes about his cheating on stage. Imagine helping someone build their career from nothing, only to become the punchline. Fans were pissed. And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, here's the twist. Teray Hart is now going on tour with none other than Katt Williams. Yup, the same Katt who's been coming for Kevin for years. Kevin and Katt can't stand each other, so Teray teaming up with him. That's got everyone talking. She even posted a pic on Instagram with Katt, calling him a good friend, and announcing she's joining his Dark Matter tour. In that same post, she shared a clip from Katt's viral Club Shay Shay interview, the one where he torched Kevin and others. When Kevin was asked about it in a recent interview, he tried to play it cool with a mature response, but you could see it on his face. He was tight. He might act like he's brushing it off, but these scandals are sticking. Fans are watching, and their views are shifting. If you're still here, you know what to do. Smash that like button, drop a comment, subscribe for more Celeb Dark, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a drop. Catch y'all in the next one.